Happy Wednesday, people. Welcome to the Kris the Critic Relationship Show. I am Kris. This beautiful human to my right, your left, is the one and only Gina B. How are you, Gina B?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It is unseasonably warm today.
It is. It was warmer earlier because the storm,
I,
right? It was very weird.
well, when I got up, and I'm always thinking of ways to sleep a little bit later, I see these extreme weather warning flashes. So I, being the great employee that I am, I go onto my sales team's group me and I said, exercise caution today, everyone. And I put the weather survey up there so everybody knows, don't expect to talk to Kris until the weather
It's
deemed
over.
safe.
Right.
Um, but one of the reasons we have this show today, the do's and don'ts of dating. And that's the title. We'll talk about things that people do good and people do bad. How do I know? Because I was a serial dater and have made way more mistakes than any human on planet Earth, which deems me an expert.
Absolutely. And I'm right there with you, sir.
But since it's 70 plus degrees, we are on the cusp of
It's not
spring
now
and
70.
summer.
Is it 70 right now?
It was 70.
Yeah.
We had 70 degrees
It
today.
wasn't just 70 a minute ago. We just came
It's
back.
56 degrees.
Yeah, that's a little different.
That's summertime.
But also, you know what? Today is the day after our election.
It is.
We had an election in Chicago yesterday.
We had an election. If your favorite person won or didn't won, at least you have
Win.
us now. By the way, today's show is brought to you by Devil Sisters Bourbon.
Devil's Sister.
If your local liquor store doesn't have it, ask them for it. Tell them to call Kris Levy. I'll get it there.
You can drink it with no mixer. I'm just saying.
I have a lot of single friends. Who don't want to be single and they're dating. And I always say, if you've been doing things the same way and haven't gotten the results, you have something to do with it. You need to do something different.
So, of your single friends,
Right?
okay?
Sure.
Like, I have single friends too. I have a lot of them. And my fiance has a lot of single friends.
It's all the women's fault.
But both,
just
well, see, the reason why I brought up I have a lot of single friends and so does he is because I know why all of them are single.
Really?
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
Is it one
On a
reason?
case by case basis. It's on a case by case basis.
Wouldn't you agree that most of it has to do with them?
Well, yeah.
But if you look at,
I mean, they're lovely people, but I understand why they're single.
and if you use social media as a barometer, it would seem that when you see people complaining, because people complain in social space, guys say, "Oh man, it's all women are crazy." I mean, they are, but that's not this show.
Calm down.
It's not this show.
It's also not true.
Or guys are doing this. You think it's always someone else. Shout out to Aaron Pointer. What's up, bro?
Hello.
Hey, hit me after the show. We get a drink in. Hit me after the show. I hit you up. But yeah, you think that it's always someone else. And I know that's not true. So I don't want to step on anybody's toes. If you hear something, you might be booed up out here. If you're checking out the show, this is always information you can pass on to one of your single friends.
Yeah,
right?
pass it along.
So
send the link. It's there for you. After
I'll go back and forth on men and women. Ladies first. So
it's unfair to the women, but that's okay.
I'm going ladies first. I'm going to give them some tips they can do. So a do is this, and I'll give you the do and don't. The do, the first do, and by the way, anyone who disagrees, male or female, that's okay. That's why we do this. And folks, if you're watching this and it's not live, most people watch this show later. I go back and I check it and I will respond to your comments. So I say it like this, and don't take no mistake. I've done this show. The first time I did this show was August 26, 2018, by the way.
Was I with you on this?
You
one?
weren't. I did it by
was
myself.
Not.
Right.
Oh, has this been years?
That show has been viewed 3,500 times, by the way. Anyway, and let me explain it first. I say to women, you're not blonde enough. Now, obviously, I said it like that because it triggers sister. But what I mean is blondes have a tendency to be sort of goofy, acting not as smart. But my point is,
that's the reputation.
You got to act flirty on a date. And that is a lost art with women. You have to act flirty. And I think if you're on a first date, especially if you're a woman, It's way too serious. And I will say, as a guy who's in the dating pool, we don't like
A
that.
guy who's in the dating pool.
Who was in the dating
was
pool?
in the dating
Wasn't me. I remember retired, but I was a Jedi Knight level player. Make no mistake.
He's a
Jedi Knight
ninja.
level player. But would you not agree that
Oh, I 100% agree. Which brings us to a quick don't, which is don't be too, don't project that you're not fun on a date. Like you have to be fun.
right?
Like be fun.
And-
Okay, so that's a do. It's also a don't.
And I'm glad, and I've heard you say this before. I don't know how you say your best self is on your first date or something.
Oh yeah.
Your representative.
Put your best self. Your representative is there, but it doesn't necessarily. Okay, well, go
But
ahead.
if your representative isn't
Fun.
what are you really
It's not
like?
getting better from there.
There we go.
It's only gonna get worse.
There we go.
Like they, the don't. Okay. Do you want to do all the do's and then all the don'ts?
No, we can stay. I mean,
You want to intersperse, or how do you want to do it?
you can do. What do you want to go? You can skip around. I don't care.
Okay. Well,
I got a list.
what? I
Gina B
know,
always
Kris
looks at my
got a
list. We jump around on the list.
We
I'm
go-
flexible.
Well, because one of the things that's related to that, it's a don't, it's a significant don't that will make people think that you're not fun, is a lot of women, you get, now granted, there's a lot of really like busted up dudes in the dating scene, and you do want to make sure that you kind of know who you're dating, but don't break out the checklist on the first date.
Right.
Some people break out, they got the notepad at the phone, and they're like, so, credit score, job, what's that? Okay.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah, don't do that, because that's that. No one wants to be interrogated on the first date. It's supposed to be for fun.
I think the list though is a bad thing.
In general,
Women don't agree with me on this, and this is
Don't.
debatable. This is debatable. Mrs.
I'll debate you.
Right. A lot of women
Uh-huh.
think that there should be a list.
I feel like there should.
I'm anti-list.
Why? I'm pro manifestation, is what I am.
Because lists make you
You have a list every week.
these are simply notes. But touche.
Kris got a list. Anyway, go ahead.
It makes people delusional because no person has everything on the list. The list makes you lie to yourself.
I think if you don't do the list correctly, you will lie to
The
yourself.
list make you lie. First off, who usually makes the list?
Women, we make the list.
Because a man's list will simply say,
big ass.
she got a little waist and a big booty and a cute face. And that alone will get you a first date. But if you don't have that and you're looking for a place to drop your handkerchief to see if he'll pick it up.
See that lack of list that men have? That gets into one of my don'ts later, but we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that down. But no one has everything on that list. And the truth is, the list usually has very superficial things on the list that if you're dating for a long-term relationship, they don't even matter.
See, I should do a whole seminar on this list thing.
But think about it. Some things that could be on the list.
So
Over 6 feet, right? Could be on the list.
Okay.
Is it possible it could be on the list?
Yes.
What about makes over 100 grand? Could be on the list?
That could be on the list.
Could be on the list. What other things could be on the list? Make up a sample. It doesn't have to be you.
Okay. It could be loyal, trustworthy, strong character.
Right.
Let's see.
But
no baby mamas.
But let me ask you this. So I like that list. Keep going. I like it so far.
So like what I put on my list once upon a time was I like nice eyes, nice complexion, nice pretty smiles. Okay. So that's a wide swath of people, right? Like, so I just like people take care of their teeth. I like people who, you know what I mean?
But there are.
See, you're talking about.
I'm saying I have people put things on this list because that's what they want.
Well,
and that's okay.
This is why I'm saying I could give a seminar on the list.
But they fail to know, okay, these are the things on my list, right?
Yeah.
Here's the guy. Call him Magic Man, because that's what he is, because no man has all the things usually on the list.
Well, I mean, some of them are weighted, though,
but
if you do the list properly.
But the question is, does your Magic Man, who has all these items on a list, does he want you? Do you have everything on his list?
Well,
because if you don't,
I encourage you to
It
turn
ain't
that
gonna
list
work.
back onto yourself and
It ain't
say,
gonna
"This
work.
is what
It
I'm
ain't
telling
gonna
you.
work.
I should give a seminar on the
So
list."
so I that's why I say do and as primitive as men are, and
Yeah.
we are very simple creatures.
Very
If I simply said, "Wow, I initially I like how she looks.
right.
Pretty face, little waist, nice cheeks." If that's all I did,
What kind of cheeks are we talking about?
firm,
Are we
not the
talking
Mickey
about
Mouse
these
fake cheeks.
cheeks?
Oh
Or are we
no,
talking about the cheeks?
cheeks,
Cheeks.
cheeks,
Okay,
the
we talking
bigger
cheeks.
cheeks.
Okay. You hope.
That gets you a date, right? That gets you a
These
date.
cheeks should be bigger than
Look,
those
rich
cheeks.
man, poor man, nice man, mean man. That gets you a date. So let's say
Okay.
I'm out on the date because I was just solely looked at looks. At least I was open enough that I would have a conversation. I'm open to a conversation. She went out with me, so she at least thought I was decent enough to go out with me. I had no prejudgment, right?
Right.
Now, I had no list, right? And I
Right.
like to think I'm gainfully employed, right?
Right.
I even got an education. I chose, it was dumb, but I chose her simply on looks. But the one thing that's true, I was open to have a conversation with her. So if she had a tooth missing, I still gave her a shot. If
Okay.
if if she may have had some baggage, I gave her a shot.
I'm gonna need
I
you.
gave her a shot, period. Because how she's been with somebody else, I didn't care. I just like what I saw.
So that
Now,
I'm still back on the
because
missing
I
the
may like
tooth.
her. I may like listen. I
We're
may,
still not
look,
quite over that part yet.
bottom line is,
I'm just
I
saying.
didn't know her. I'm not saying I'm a marry her, but I may
You-
like a
you
lot
could
of
get-
things
I
about
could
her.
get that bitch some dentures.
We'll
I
get
mean,
to you.
like
We'll
what?
get to you, Kay Allen. Matter of fact,
Right?
I'll get to it first.
Karen Allen knows what's
Karen
up.
Allen said, "Can we blow it up again,
Is
please?"
she gonna pay for it? Is
No,
he
no,
gonna
no,
pay
no.
for a tooth?
And that's fine. She went out with me because I was paying. That's fine. I asked her out because she had a little waist and some cute cheeks. If it's a win-win, fair exchange, ain't no robbery. That's okay up to that point. However, if I like the conversation and like what I saw, I might go out again. There are going to be some things I liked I didn't like, but I'm not going to sit here and say, you know what? She didn't make $100,000. I got to cross her off this list.
Well, okay. So here's the difference, though.
So you basically you cut yourself out of some nice men when you make that list.
I get okay.
That's all I'm saying.
But when you were dating, you were not dating for long-term benefit.
Whoa, this is a Kris Critic show.
I'm just saying.
I am a believer, and you've heard me say this. You practice how you play. You practice how you play. So that means,
what does that mean specifically?
If you date for sport, you're gonna lose out because you'll end up, ladies. If you date a guy and you know he ain't nothing, but you make a habit of it, and you tell yourself, "I'm just dating. It ain't long term." You'll end up with somebody who ain't nothing. That's what'll happen.
This is what I'm saying.
That's what'll happen.
Segues me so nicely into
you practice how you play.
Well, okay. That's fair. But my point is that when you were going out with these tiny waisted, big cheeked women,
I would have married them. Had they have the other,
right? But that wasn't your primary thing.
It never is.
Okay, but I'm just saying that some of these women that produce these checklists, they're looking for a long-term solution.
But you didn't address what we said. If you make that checklist, every time, because people, men and women, make checklists, and a lot of things on that checklist are things they are not, and things that particular fictional person would not want you. If I wrote down a checklist of everything I wanted in a woman, that woman would not want me. She wouldn't. Because listen, she would look like Rihanna, have talent like Beyonce. She could cook. That woman is going to want somebody making a lot more money than me because she can get it.
Okay.
But that's my list. So the list, it messes
But see,
you
the
up.
thing is, for men, you're
it
going after the list because your list is to get some coochie.
We're trying to get coochie.
You're
regardless,
trying to get coochie.
Whether we marry him, not marry him, we are all.
That's my whole point.
Stop. If I knew a
You're
tree,
proving
that tree
my
right
point.
there, that tree right there. See that tree?
Yeah, I'll just make
Pretend
up
you're
there's a
making
tree.
There's a tree right here.
It's yonder.
If somebody told me, man, you put your in that tree,
You'd probably do that.
All men would at some point. Nobody's like, man, we stupid. So
Yes, we
whatever. I
are.
mean, we
So,
chase.
but my point. Okay, so let's get off this.
We don't make lists.
We can make a
We don't make
whole
lists.
episode out of this.
We don't make lists.
Don't need to. All right. My point is, don't lead with whatever list. If you have a list or if you don't have a list, don't lead with a list.
Don't have the list.
Or I'll tell you what. Here was one of the big
it.
things on my list. Okay, and this was a defining moment for me because I went on a lot of one and done dates because of it.
Right.
You know what it was?
What?
So I'm a person who never wanted to have kids, right? So, and for some reason, I don't know what this was. I had friends who really wanted to have kids and they could never get guys to talk about this. I, for some reason, would go out with men who would want to impregnate me immediately. And so therefore, I would have to, like, on the first date sometimes, we would get into this conversation where a guy would say, yeah, I really want to have like 4 kids. I'm like, why is this first date topic? But then now we can't go out anymore because no one's winning here. Because I'm not going to just have kids because you want me to have them.
Right.
And you deserve to have the kids that you want to have.
I don't even know why early on in dating.
That was a topic of conversation?
That was a topic
But I swear to you, at least 5 times I had to only go on one date.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not have a first date be that heavy.
I have no idea how we digressed on the first date, but we did.
Yeah, I might have had a
And
good
that
date.
was a.
He was looking like,
I mean,
childbearing hips. He could do this.
But I was a fun date. I was a fun person to go out with.
You are. I can imagine that because
Yeah.
you'd be like,
I'm a fun friend, like
literally, guys. I mean, we have a little more than apple juice today. However,
as usual.
if I asked Gina B, hey, you want to mix your apple juice with something else? She's like, obviously you don't know me. She's a guy's guy. However, guys
don't see why I would do that.
Guy's guy. Kay Allen said the list changes with age.
It does.
It
should.
Still a list.
But it should change with age. But
it's still always fictional.
But you should have some parameters.
I'm not saying that, but if you make a list, it's the person on the list, even if you're a man, woman, a creature, the person on that list, the bigger thing people should ask themselves is what's on their list. If you're being smart, am I what's on their list?
I mean, you should ask that question. I mean, you might not be. I mean, on the first date, you need to figure out, like, okay, well,
on the first date, you should just have fun.
Just have a good time.
Now,
but you can hear the things if you listen. That
you're right. So for the woman on the date, if I'm on a first date, and I've had women do this, I've sat across, nice place. Well, Kris, here's what I'm not going to do ever with any man.
Well, I'm not going to.
I don't like this. I don't like that. This is what I do. Blah blah blah. And I'm sitting over here like, this is a killjoy. Just shoot me. I'm like, this is me. I got to go to the restroom and kill myself.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
But put me on the same date. I'm not saying that this is going to work out. And the girl's like all into me. Oh my gosh, Kris is so funny. Now, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm happy to be around her. So whatever, if I got something that she like, vice versa, you know what? She just reeled my ass in. She might be dumb as a box of rocks, but she know. Because I know, because I'm a Jedi Knight, most women, they wouldn't mind going to a nice place.
Right. No, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't mind laughing at some jokes.
Exactly.
So I will acquiesce and try and do what I think they might like. Conversely, she knew that men like to hear women laugh at their jokes. They like to think that they're in control and they got a little fun person. What I always say, be a kitten, not a cat. Be funny and playful. Don't be like no old mean ass cat. Because she knew that it's no skin off her back.
Right.
It's no skin off.
Well, if you were funny, then yes.
Even if I wasn't, she appreciate, maybe she wanted to go to the restaurant again. Whatever her motives was, she knew how to keep me engaged. Too many times these days, I see people wanting to state what they believe in and what they'll stand for and what they don't stand for. And all of that makes my penis soft. And I don't want to be here ever again.
Okay.
It is what it is. Okay. That's an extreme.
Like, all right.
But you know what I'm saying?
That's a lot. Okay, can we just sum it up and say
be nice
and commit, if you're going to spend some time with somebody, commit to having a good time.
Sure.
Just have fun.
It's
and if it doesn't work out for you, it just doesn't. But if you're going to spend 2-3 hours, if you've committed to doing that, at least make sure you're having a good time.
And guys, you will see. You don't have to ask her how much she drinks. You'll see how much she drinks.
You'll figure that shit out.
Ladies, you don't have to see how he treats other people. You'll see how he treats that waiter.
You will.
You'll see how he talks to you. You'll see his mannerisms. You'll see if he waits on you to eat, or if he just starts going in and doesn't care about
Table
anything.
manners.
You'll see all
There
of
are
that.
things that you just should be quiet and
Just share.
observe.
It's a date. You got.
You don't need to ask.
If I were one, I'd be like, I enjoy the free meal. I'm gonna do with that. It's free meal.
Yeah.
Catherine Bowmer, hello.
Hello, Catherine Bowmer.
You all remind me. You're similar to each other. She's like, if you were a nice Christian woman, you'd be Catherine Bowmer.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. If I were a nice Christian woman.
I mean, you all are very principled.
Well, I mean,
what you
gotta have principles.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that y'all don't come off of it. That's not the show.
I don't want to. We're not just okay. Well, go ahead to the.
Let me go to a guy.
Go to a guy. I got one for guys.
I got it. My list for guys, believe it or not, is long.
Okay, let's get into it.
Read my list for guys. Tell me which one you want to start.
Wow. On. Okay.
Guys, no, brothers. I just see us messing up more than them.
Okay, let's go with this one. Let's go with the too cheap.
Oh yeah, guys. Yeah, exactly. Too cheap.
Fellas.
Fellas, I get it. And I understand why. As I understand why women do what they do. I'm not saying either's right or wrong. Fellas are too cheap. Now, I asked the brother this, who I noticed online dating has presented single people now with way more dates in a short amount of time.
A lot of options, right?
So, because I do a show, I was even like, man, how does this work? So we were going on a trip, and my single buddy can literally, depending on the town we're in, say he's here, profile goes up, dude has dates lined up.
Of course.
And I'm like, it's
instant gratification dating.
Marvelous.
Yeah, it's instant gratification dating. There's no barrier.
Because he goes on so many dates, he was saying, man, I try to keep these to, lunch dates, coffee meetings. That's what you do for interviews.
Take a walk.
That's what you do for interviews in business. And my thing is, at least I was like, man, but do you feel like you cheating it? Because you're competing. Men are competing with other men, whether you like it or not, and women are competing with other women.
Yep.
I always I was dating before this dating app craze. I wanted my date to have a good time, right? Go to a nice place. But if I was trying to get in 5 times more dates than I normally would, so I always say, if that is your concern, fellas, they know when you being cheap. I would try to have phone conversations to see if you really want to go on a date with that person.
Yeah, just have a couple because now no one's really talking. But they're just swiping.
Do a lot of your single women friends say men are cheap now?
Yeah. And you know what? Even when I was dating, so I remember this one guy asked me out. And the thing that was interesting about it is that
I'm sorry. We gotta after we finish this.
We gotta go back to
Kay Allen's stuck on this damn list.
Well, that was a couple comments. That was a little while ago.
I just read it.
I know you just read it, but it was made a while ago.
Duty. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway. So I went on a date once, and the guy was really persistent about me going on a date with him. And I thought he was nice, but I was like, okay, fine. So we go to this bar, and it was like a martini bar.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And that's fine. But I couldn't even get like the left butt cheek in the booth good before he was okay. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'll get the first round and you get the next round.
You said that?
No, that's what he said.
Oh, he said that to you. Had you all talked before then?
Yeah, we had talked with the
fellas.
phone.
That is a panty dryer upper move.
Oh my God.
Even if that's what you're thinking.
Okay. So
I'm like, even if that's what you're thinking, never say that.
So what I just made sure that was my mind was made up at that moment. Because
exactly.
That is the first thing you have to say to me is who's covering the cost of a martini.
Right.
Then I was like, this doesn't bode well.
Right.
And not only that, but I'm happy to cover the cost for my martini because this is now no longer a date.
Wow. Right. So
I was like, sure,
I'm happy to do it. At that point, keep your pride intact. You finish that meal. And it
wasn't a meal. It was just martinis.
Wow. See what I'm saying? But I'm glad I saw that because, fellas, if you didn't know, you're a grown person, you should know women actually value their money more than you value your own.
And I'll pay my way out of a date.
Listen to me. But you know what I said? Women value their money. It's more important to them.
Yeah.
The way you feel if somebody asks you to borrow $50, that's the way a woman feels if you ask to borrow $1.
Okay, calm down.
I'm just saying, y'all better with money anyway. That's what it is.
All right.
I didn't know it was that many brothers being cheap.
Too cheap is yes.
Considering that there are, I feel the hookups happen more often, like sexual, physical hookups happen quicker than old school type dating. Let's ask our producer. He's younger in the dating game. If you don't mind me asking, sir, can you state your age for the listening audience? We're slightly older than you.
My name is Jake. I'm 21.
Now, let me ask you: do people hook up quicker on dates?
From what I understand, yeah.
What's-
I've been out of the game for about 2.5 years now.
I got you, but give me a rough ballpark. I just want to see what the difference is between when I was slightly younger.
When it comes,
2.3 dates
when
get you laid. 1.3 dates, 5 dates. How many dates?
2 hours.
yeah, when it comes to online dating, it's same day or immediate or there's no date.
All right, now, do your friends commit to the deed, or do they acknowledge committing to the deed that quick?
No.
Do the men
And
friends? They have a different story than the women, don't they?
yeah, no. Well, yeah, some of my male friends are off the chain.
My point is, if
Like-
people are hooking up sooner, there's less, especially for men, because we are visual creatures, right? We do it ultimately, whether we want to marry you or date you, we are thinking about sleeping with you. And I'm telling ladies, always hold off on their ass. If you really want to marry him, don't sleep with him. I'm telling you,
that's one of the don'ts.
I don't care. I don't care what he says and how good it seems. Hold off. If you really want him, just trust me. It doesn't make no lie.
Yeah, I mean, and then you get to see like what.
But
I
if
mean,
you
he may be somebody that you would be embarrassed about sleeping with later.
right.
You know,
But
like,
if you bust it down too soon, right? And that's what's happening in the dating game. Why is he paying a lot anyway? Because he figured you're an outlier.
I mean, is it a
You're an outlier, Gina B. You're an outlier if I gotta pay all this money because everyone else is doing it cheaper and quicker. You see what I'm saying?
I mean,
I think that's messing up the game.
I guess. I mean, yeah, if you're giving it up that soon, there are some people that are like, well, I want to get it out of the way as soon as possible to find out if he's somebody that I want to continue that activity with, right?
Right. Look,
But I don't necessarily feel that's a good idea. I feel like personally, I think you need to get to know him long enough because you just don't know. Like I said, if it's somebody that you'll be embarrassed about sleeping with later, like
Jake,
there's some people I'm just like, oh God, thank God I dodged that bullet.
Jake, somebody said Jake is out of the game at 21. Now, Jake, you have to keep in mind. People slightly older, Jake, we're all in our 40s. We're all in our 40s, Jake.
Yeah,
So
all in your
people,
40s.
people in their 40s.
Mhm.
We forget how we were at 21. And at 21, I literally thought I was going to marry the person I was with. She was a church-going woman, godly. She did have a little waist, big old cheeks, though. But it wasn't the right match. But we have good intentions as humans. And I think the older we get, we become more whorish in our ways. Shame on all of us.
Yeah, but that next generation is pendulum. This pendulum.
Shame on all of us. Let me
Pretty
go to
hard.
another mistake.
Yeah, mistake.
We're back on women now. Actually, this one goes to women and men. You won't change your scenery. Listen, if you go to the same places and you're seeing the same types of dudes, why would you expect to see there are women I know. Let's say they like whiskey and cigars and they go to the same place and drink whatever they do. First off, I don't want to sound chauvinist, but I'm going to sound chauvinist no matter how it
You
comes
can't help
out.
yourself, really. Go ahead.
I don't think a woman should show how much she likes to drink around prospective dates.
Oh my God.
Am I wrong in saying that?
I don't think either person.
You know what I'm trying to say? That
Neither men nor women.
but women are judged more harshly on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I'll tell you what, there was another guy I never went out with.
He's
again.
like, hey, Gina B, first date.
I was like, if you don't get your ass. No, really, I went on a date once with this guy who he took me to one of those places that has the margaritas the size of your head.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Those big bowls. And it was like a Cuervo 1800.
He's trying to get you buzzed.
I wasn't drinking it. He was trying to get himself buzzed.
He didn't know you could drink him on the
And he really didn't. But I was consciously, it was day drinking. I don't really love day drinking. And so he kept adding shots of tequila
Really?
to this great big margarita. And then when I couldn't take it anymore, I'm like, okay, we probably should go. He got it in a to-go cup. This restaurant does not exist any longer.
Interesting.
He got an extra shot in a to-go cup. I was like, I cannot. And then he wanted to go out to dinner. I was like, because you are drunk as hell and you're too big for me to have to try to maneuver. Like I couldn't. Like
That was smart.
Yeah, I was like, no,
smart for
thank you.
Smart of you to remove yourself from
I
it.
couldn't. I was like, not only that, but then I saw him. Like we never went out again. And I saw him a couple years later, and I was like, "Do you remember me?" He was
Right.
like, "No." I was like, "I guess you don't. You were smashed."
Right. And I hear guys say the same thing, like, man, these women only want this, and I don't want to, I'm spending all my money at the bar or whatever. Well, you're going to the same place. And I tell people, and I find this more so true, it works for women if you travel more. I think when people travel,
Mm-hmm.
A, it eliminates some of the scum. Scum doesn't travel as much.
Depends on where you're going.
Well, it doesn't matter, period. You meet a lot of people in the airport, right? People who travel regularly tend to be higher net worth individuals. And you can tell by where they're going. If they're going, ladies, you're sitting at a bar by yourself at an airport, and he's going to the Black Aviators Convention. Hey, and he's single. He's checked a couple of boxes right there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And to that end, if you're a person who says, I like a guy making this amount of money or this amount of occupation,
yeah.
then you should go to those places. You know,
Yeah.
if you're not 25, there is a National Black Coaches Association. There's an aviators convention.
There
There
are
are
a lot
lawyer
of men there,
conventions.
ladies.
There are judges conventions. Go to these
People
places.
get it in those conventions.
I'm
yeah.
just saying, at least you're not dealing with a bunch of broke dudes who can't rub together 2 nickels. Maybe it's a marriage. that
You got to
didn't work.
watch the married dudes, though. But that's a whole different issue.
Maybe they're married and didn't work. I'm just saying, if you want to fish, you got to
Maybe
go to where the fishes are, or you,
Yeah.
or ladies. That's for guys. But if ladies, if you drop your handkerchief in the
Look
right
for
place,
suntans. Is all I'm telling
if you're
you.
dropping your handkerchief at the President's Lounge every week, you're gonna get different results than dropping your handkerchief at the National Black Caucus.
I'm just saying
convention.
to look for suntans on the ring finger if that's what you're doing.
That's not the biggest mistake people have.
It's not the biggest mistake, but it is one, and it is a big one. I'm just saying. Those places have trappings too, is my point. But I mean, that is that could be a good hunting ground. Just protect yourself is my point.
Well,
Ask questions.
what you just said, that could happen at the President's Lounge. Nothing against President's Lounge, by the way, but that could happen
Oh, you
at the
mean the bar?
lounge.
Yeah, it could.
So I don't know why you
Well,
present that
okay,
just when I mentioned somebody's traveling.
because you know how people are. What happens here stays here. You know what I mean? Like
Is that what the ladies say?
that's what the men say.
How do you know this?
Because I know men.
How do you know this?
I know. Men. I know men.
Anyway, so yeah, change your scenery, ladies. Stop going to the same places. Let me do one for the fellas.
Can we do mine?
Which one you got? Oh,
You
wait,
know the
wait.
one I have.
You can say this. Jada B has something for the fellas. Don't
Don't stick it in crazy.
Don't stick your in crazy.
Don't stick your dick in crazy. Okay, so this is where the due diligence comes in. Now, men, Kris and I were having this conversation earlier today. I think men do not look for warning signs of women that could become problems later.
Partially true. We see them, we ignore them.
You see the signs, you ignore the signs.
We do ignore them.
Now,
Admit it.
this will be very difficult for you to unravel yourself from later on. And so, therefore, you have to make sure that you know what you're doing. Just because somebody is willing to give it up, if she tells you things like, I was just released from an institution, I'm going pretty far. But, as my friend Lori and I say, if you see crazy coming, you cross the street.
Unfortunately, she's actually 1,000% correct, fellas. And I know multiple men, and I even told Jada B years ago, I had a woman tell me, I'm bipolar. And I'm thinking, whatever. All I was looking at
was the bootay.
And this is a person who told me who they were.
People will tell you who they are. Don't ignore the message.
Listen to me, people. It turned out to be fatal attraction. I know every guy who has a fatal, like somebody who won't leave you alone, and you're like, man, why did I do that? Or God forbid they come up pregnant.
That means you need to wrap it up. That's another do of dating.
Yeah. So give crazy some thought, fellas.
And a wide berth.
Give crazy some thought. You see that a lot, though.
Men love crazy coochie.
You see that a lot, and unfortunately, I always say online, these reality shows make us all have a warped sense of reality. We think all these
Yeah,
every woman we're supposed to have looks like what these, nothing housewives or whatever city they're in.
they're never
And a lot
wives.
of these women, unfortunately, are very beautiful, but they're shallow on the inside. That's why they're on the show. They're picked for the show because they don't represent the normal wife. They represent the wife with a lot of drama that makes for good TV.
Yeah,
And so we see is how she looks. So we need to have that. And then when you finally get somebody that fits that, and you're like, man, you don't tell yourself, you don't admit you're over indexing on the looks, but she crazy. That's why
right.
you over index. Anyway,
Exactly.
see,
And
fellas
you
don't
know,
do that.
just like stop and pay attention. Just because
Right.
she's willing to hook up does not mean that she should be hooked up with.
I think a lot of women, I'm going back to women now. I
Okay.
think a mistake, a don't, is getting advice from your single friend.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you see online posts, men ain't this, men ain't that, I hate this, these dudes this, they don't understand. It's always the loud, mad ones are always a single one. We joke about it, and I'm like, I can look at a post and tell if she's single.
Yeah, your single friends will say things like,
They're your support group,
"Yeah,
but they're not your advice people.
they will keep you single. Your single friends will keep you single.
They're
I
your advice
promise
group.
you.
I mean, not advice. They're your support
They're your
group,
support group.
but they're not to be asked any advice. That's why they're single.
They'll say things like, "You're better than me." They'll say things
Girl,
because
if that was me,
I wouldn't put
be
up
gone.
with.
I'd be gone.
I wouldn't be bothered with.
If the goal is,
I wouldn't. Yeah.
If the goal is to get a man long term, don't ask them for that advice.
Do not do that
Yeah,
because they will keep you single all day long.
I'll give that to fellas too. I mean,
oh, your single friends will derail your relationship because
Yeah.
single men they just want you to hang out and get in trouble
all day.
Yeah. Like Lee has some single friends. I'm like, you can
All
continue to
day.
hang out with him if you'd like to, but
this is how you know when they try. Really, you saying you can't just go out for a little bit?
right.
No.
Oh, see, I wouldn't let no woman tell me what I can't do.
No.
I would tell that bitch. It's like, okay, now we've gone a little far.
But early on, even the
I'll
critic has
volunteer
been
to let
like
you
this.
move in.
Yeah,
with
you're
that
right,
person.
man. Yeah, you're right. We're going out. We hours
Listen.
later, it's like, damn, why not even listen?
Why? And then not only that, now you're about to get kicked out, so you better live with him. You better hope he has an apartment with space for you, because that's where you're gonna be.
Which he does. Let's see.
You don't want to be there with all them dirty socks and dirty dishes.
You want to get one for guys? You pick one off the guys list.
I'll pick one off the guys list. Okay.
It's a lot. Well,
It's
no,
a
real
whole
guys?
lot.
Real guys, yeah. I can't remember.
Let's see. Okay, so no, this isn't a guy one. Well, that is kind of a guy one.
I was gonna pick that one, but no.
Yeah. Go for it. We got so many. You guys
taking, yeah. I think men take rejection badly. I think, and again, all these can go back and forth, but fellas, if you thought she was feeling you, and now she's kind of not feeling you, and I'm not talking about go serial rejection crazy where you got to curse out and call out a name, but man, exit from the situation. It saves you time and money, and that is your most valued resource when you're dating, is your time and your money, because that can be time or money spent elsewhere. Don't try to salvage something that ain't working. Everybody's not a good match. I don't care how cute she is or none of that.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like guys spend too much. Because listen, someone said it earlier. Kay Allen said it. Maybe she's wanting a free meal. She might want another free meal.
Yeah.
Girl, I ain't doing nothing. This ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
You taking me where? I ain't never been there. I'm going.
I mean,
bro,
there's
you knew before it was over when it was over.
Yeah, you
Let
do.
it go. Just let it go.
Because
Let
every
it go and
time
let
there's a
go.
bad situation, inevitably you hear something told me. Like, go with that voice. If something is telling you,
Go with it, boy.
go with the voice. Like, don't
Right.
ignore it.
Yeah, that's
like
huge.
at all, because you will end up in some bad shit.
I'm gonna go. I got to get this. This is the number one thing issues I have with today's modern woman.
Oh,
I didn't mean to say like I want y'all to not make $1 for $1 what men make. I'm not going there. The feminati, Jake. The feminati has been trying to catch me since I started the show.
the feminati.
I am scared of the feminati.
I'm not sure they exist.
Oh, they exist.
No, they don't.
They exist. Anyway, giving up the cookies
What did we just talk
too
about?
soon.
Didn't we just talk about giving
Not
out
really.
cookies too soon?
And we didn't go into it.
You like to talk about that.
Well, no, it's the number one mistake because I've had this conversation. Yeah, not even adversarial conversation, just conversation with people, and they will say, "Well, men do it." They'll say, "Well, men do it. Men do it. Why can't I? Men do it. I got choices. Men do it." There was an article.
They don't do what men do.
Who's a celebrity's kid? Lori Harvey.
Oh, Lori Harvey.
Lori Harvey.
People pick on Lori Harvey.
Lori Harvey is drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman.
Drop dead gorgeous. 26, 25, 27, or young. Right?
She has big money grooming.
Big money grooming. All of that.
Yeah. all of it.
However, her list of men is for someone that age. Is a list. Trey Songz is on the list.
Yeah.
Right. What's my man from Snowfall?
Oh, you mean the one who plays Franklin?
Saint.
Yes,
Frank-
Franklin Saint.
If he's on the list, right?
Yeah, Desmond Idris. Yeah.
Diddy's son and Diddy are on the list. Future is on. It's a who's who list, right?
Yeah.
But at that age,
She has a lot of options.
Michael B. Jordan was on the list.
Yeah.
Eh,
She feasibly could have kept him.
So my thing is, I don't care how much money you got. I'm slightly old-fashioned. And men don't always make these rules. A woman's reputation still is a woman's reputation. And because men are simple creatures, that crap will fly while she's young and desirable and all that. But there will come a day she won't look like that. And she,
Well, in the meantime, she's having a great time with it. is my point.
I didn't say it wasn't a great time. I'm not doubting that. And I'm not even doubting. It's her right. It's her
Well,
choice.
people mess with her, and I don't really.
It's
like
her, I'm like Dave Chappelle. I am a feminist. It's her choice.
it is.
So I'm cool with people exercising their choice.
Mhm.
Now, when you do that, man, woman, or beast, you have to be
beast.
I'm just saying. You got to know that there are ramifications to every choice,
Yes, there are.
right?
Uh-huh.
I just don't think that's a smart move in somebody's spot, but people would defend it like it's
Well,
all other.
because
And so I just want to say this,
Go
and then I'll
ahead.
turn over the mic.
go ahead.
I'm saying that to say, because somebody was like, well, she didn't say she was sleeping with him. I'm like, whatever. She got Future on the list. She slept with all these dudes. I'm saying that puts you in hoe status. You might be rich kept status, but it's
But your
still,
guys like hoes, so I don't know why you're.
we don't marry hoes. We will go out for anybody. We don't marry hoes.
There are plenty of married hoes.
True. But
There are.
but as a rule, we don't marry hoes. Men and women, by the way. But we don't marry hoes.
We had a FLOTUS who was a HOTUS. I'm just saying.
She's not a hoe.
Who?
What FLOTUS?
Melania?
She was not a hoe.
Wasn't she?
First off, this is not to trigger any anti-Trumpers. I don't want to trigger them. They're people too. Trumpers are people too. However, fair exchange is never a robbery. Someone asked her, would she be with Donald Trump if he didn't have that money? And she straight face said, would he be with me if I wasn't this beautiful? Fair exchange is no robbery.
I'm not even really talking about
So
the Trump piece of it. I'm like, she's naked everywhere. It's like, I don't know. We can talk about that later.
I think you have a problem with. I think you have a problem
With what?
with Trump's side pieces. And his wives and women.
Like, sure, I do. Why not?
He is one
Or
side.
anything having to do with him.
I don't think Trump is that much different than any other old white man that I've met.
Okay.
Black people should not be triggered by politics. That's a whole nother show.
I'm just saying. But okay,
They
back
haven't
to the
served us
point
well.
though. There are plenty of hoes that are married. Is my point. Plenty. And Lori Harvey happens to have a lot of options that, by the way, a lot of women wish they had. And so that's why people
Because
are
a lot
like,
of women want to be
"Go,
hoes. They want to justify
girl."
being a hoe.
Or
And again, I started the show saying if your goal is to be in a long-term relationship or get married, that's not your course.
but a lot of women date as much as Lori Harvey. They just aren't in the public eye, so you don't see it.
Again,
And the men aren't as high profile. So therefore, they could go on 3-4 dates a week with different dudes. You
No,
just don't
she's-
even notice it.
but she's sleeping with.
But you don't know that.
Okay. If you
don't.
really want to believe that.
I mean, you don't know.
Okay.
Do you know? Were
And
you in
Rick-
the room?
I wasn't in the room. Rick James did drugs, but I know he was doing them.
Well, there was evidence he was doing drugs.
And there's
outside of
evidence
the room.
he is getting.
No, there's not. What's the evidence?
What
That
evidence did
she's
Rick
with
James
him
have?
somewhere?
What evidence did Rick James?
Showing up high in public?
Well, how you know he was high? That's like Rick James act. He was a wild man. Exactly. See how you looking at me? That's how I'm looking at
I
you
am not
saying.
having
That's
these
how I look-
inane conversations with you
Anyway,
about
ladies,
Lori Harvey, who's
if you want-
exercising her right.
Listen, if you want to trick yourself, I don't even have to say that. If you've been giving up the ass too soon, and you're one of these people saying men do it, that's why you ain't got no. It ain't worked. It ain't worked. If it ain't worked, it ain't worked. Ain't no married women out here saying I've been sleeping with these guys on the first, second, third date. They don't make it to the altar. So I hate to tell you, you're wrong. It doesn't work. And ain't no married. Now, if you just want to be out here sleeping with various dudes, keep doing it.
So if you're not fun enough, then it's a problem. But if you're too much fun, then that's a problem
That's
too.
a problem too.
I'm just saying.
We have
Yes,
former
alley cats are just that. You can't make them house
Nate
cats.
Turner. Not only did he go to my grade school, he's a former NFL player, Buffalo Bill. Checking into the Kris the Critic with Gina B show. Alley cats are just that. You can't make them house cats. Exact. How much? No matter how much kitty litter you put down, they still piss in the corner.
Okay, that's a little much.
But I apply it to. I do. It is what it is.
Well, there are dudes that are alley cats too. Let's be clear.
Why do today we give so much grace to hoes?
I'm not giving you.
I remember Amber Rose went on Slut Walk, and I'm like, she's a slut.
Amber,
and everybody's
yeah,
like,
pretty
that's
much.
her right.
Amber
to be
Ho.
a slut.
I'm not a fan of Amber Rose.
Hey,
for the record,
men do it. Men
No,
do
no,
it.
no, I was
men
never-
do it.
she turned the slut walk into an actual slut.
Lori
walk.
Harvey at 26 has a hit list longer than Amber Rose.
She's a lot classier though.
Amber Rose is gay. Amber Rose is getting married. Hey,
I'm not sure who was marrying her with a tattoo across her forehead, but who am I?
whatever. That's hilarious.
I'm just saying.
Here's some. We ain't got that much. I'm gonna go to some of the guys' lists, and we can pick on one. I think guys are too picky at some point. There are some men out here who people get stuck in their ways as we get older, men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some, admittedly, I was too, and nobody was right. You're searching for perfect. I think that happens to men a lot because there's so many women doing well out here.
Mm-hmm.
So as guys, it almost makes it hard to find somebody. And I forgot what Nordic country this was, like Iceland or something like that. There's actually a more shortage of women there.
Mm-hmm.
So the guys are all on it. Women are like, man, I need to move there. You know what I'm saying? They're all on it. Here it's the opposite. Like, especially in the African-American community, African-American women, shout out to y'all. Woo! You all are the most educated group. Y'all make a lot of money. Y'all out here doing it, killing it. However, I think because brothers know that, they are extra picky. So they not only want
because they're commoditized.
they want to find somebody with a PhD and the best boutique.
They don't care about the PhD.
They don't.
They don't care.
I always say that, but
Yes.
they care, but it's like it's not the main driver in the decision.
What's the comment above that, Jake?
They see that is a.
Yeah. See.
Let's
damned
go back
either
to
way.
Karen Allen first. They won't marry these alley cats, but they sure will make them their baby's mom. Now let me ask you this, Kay Allen. I hate to say it. Men have always behaved as the same cretins that we've been. What's changed? Women giving up that ass too soon. So who really opened their legs, Kay Allen? Because now I'm
Who
a
didn't
man.
wrap it up?
I'm a
Chris
man.
Levy.
I'm defending my manhood.
Wrap it up then.
All right. But let's say I did. Let's say I'm an ignorant ass man.
Let's say.
Who let my ignorant ass run up in
Who let the dogs
Who
out?
let my ignorant ass run up in them raw? Ain't nobody put nothing in me. Who let them do that? Some baby
well, who's
mama.
doing it? Do you
Stop
want to
giving these baby mamas passes?
Well, she wasn't a baby mama, maybe until
It's
you
an
made her
equal-
one.
My
I'm
point
just
is,
saying.
it's an equal for every ignorant baby daddy. There's an ignorant baby mama.
I'm not saying that doesn't take two to tango,
people
but
act
I'm
like
just saying
these
don't
men are
absolve
so
yourself.
When you hear this, these men are so irresponsible. Nick Cannon, I can't believe.
Oh, Nick Cannon's ridiculous.
Hold on. But what about he's one man. What about the 12 women who let Nick Cannon
Okay,
bust
let's
all
be
up
clear.
in them?
Let's be clear. Men can have way more babies in a year. We can have one baby.
That doesn't change
a year.
the decision.
One
making,
baby.
Though. That doesn't make
Men can spray their shit around.
For one man making
pull a
bad
Nick Cannon.
decisions, there are a plethora of women making bad decisions.
He got 5 kids the same age.
Listen, but we don't even mention them. No one says there's some dumbass women. No one says that. No,
I don't understand
you
who.
mentioned Nick.
I don't know
say nothing about them
who
women.
is having a baby with Nick Cannon. Who looks at that as a good idea? Mariah Carey is like, God damn it, why? Would I do that with Nick Cannon? And he's gonna have 12 more kids behind my kids.
If you won't marry them, don't go in raw. Are women powerless?
This is my point, Karen Allen.
Let me ask Karen Allen and Gina B.
Okay.
Answer together. I just need an answer. Are women powerless to control who goes in them raw? Yes or no?
Sometimes they get raped.
See how they do that? See how they do
rape.
that? Jake, you see
what
that?
Are we powerless?
I asked yes or
women
no
get raped a lot.
Jake. Let's ask it again, Jake. Gina B. Are women?
Don't put Jake in this. He was. It's like,
I'm asking
engineering.
you a yes or no question. Are women powerless to control who goes in them raw?
Consensually?
It's a yes or
no.
No
Consensually?
Question. Don't try to go to the outlier and normal.
I'm asking the question.
For the hundreds of men you
consensually, no.
For the hundreds of men that you know that slept with somebody raw who didn't rape them.
Okay, consensually.
Because that's 99%.
Okay, well, no, not necessarily 99.
So are women powerless? So who's at fault? Both.
I'm not saying that both parties are not at fault. Okay. But what I'm saying is that men should not want to be raw dogging some random shit.
I agree, but it's more.
And women should not be. I mean,
I'm about to poke the bear, Jake. I didn't mean to do this on this show,
Jake.
I'm about to poke the bear. It's more of the woman's responsibility. See, I did that.
Okay, well.
Because ultimately the woman.
But you don't understand if you don't know what that woman's agenda is.
Doesn't matter. Either. It's more of her responsibility to protect that, because ultimately she makes the decision, since it's her body, if she has the child. She's the one who's going to get paid. If they don't get married, the man has to take it. So it's more of her decision.
Well, see,
so for the record, let's just say, women, that's on y'all.
Well, okay. But here's the thing that men forget. Men forget that women have agendas too. Okay.
We don't. We choose those paths.
Well, that's what gets you in trouble.
Absolutely.
Because a woman, you can think that you're getting over on her, but the last laugh's on you if she's like, I'm pregnant and you're on the hook for 18 years. Right? So you're the one that has the chance of being financially disadvantaged and have a kid foisted on you that you don't necessarily want.
I agree.
If that's her agenda. But you don't know that. Because men always think that, I'm getting some, I mean, it's guys will think that, especially the ones that have a lot to lose, professional athletes, men that have a lot of money.
So you're saying women have an agenda?
Hell yeah. Women have an agenda sometimes.
Hold on.
Sometimes.
So women are out here part of the problem?
Absolutely.
Get out of here.
Did I ever say that women were not part of the problem?
Women don't do anything wrong.
Did I ever say they weren't?
But
I've never said that.
We got on all this because I said one of the biggest issues is giving up the ass too soon. Do you think that's an issue?
I do think that's an issue.
Are there any women out here listening in the audience right now or otherwise that think women should be able to give up all the ass they want and it's cool? Because I feel like that's the sentiment out there.
Well, I think that you should use discretion.
Why?
Over just for your own personal health benefits, wellness.
I thought you meant in my wording of it.
Yeah, no. I mean, like as a woman, like you should. I think. I mean, it depends on how you want to live your life. I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their lives, but for me, I would suggest that people take some time and figure it out. Jake, what was Karen Allen's last comment? I can't see it from here.
Amen. The agenda.
Amen. The agenda. What's right above that? If she's an alley cat, she doesn't care about. But if you aren't the same alley cat, wrap it up exactly.
That's hilarious.
And what was Nate's about that?
Some of the mistakes men make. I want to get into these before we close out.
Don't tell men what you're looking for.
Nate said, I tell all my good women friends, don't tell men what you're looking for. We can become that 6 to 8 months when we get tired of reveal our true self. Very much so. There's, and we didn't get into it because we digressed a little bit.
We did digress, as always.
There is a false belief that people can change a little bit. You're never going to be somebody different.
You can evolve. But your circumstances can change.
Men typically, if it's sort of in us, we will, for the right woman, act or be a certain way, right? And I think women who see something in somebody or want to be with somebody are capable of doing the same. I think too many times we'll say, I'm not changing nothing for him. I'm not changing nothing for him. Men are used to changing for other folk, right? I use this example, it seems like every week.
Other folk. You sound like you're 75 years old.
When I was young, I found out women like dudes with cars. So I didn't say, I could have said,
Didn't you want a car though?
they got to accept me for how I am.
But
I'm
wasn't
not-
a car on the
Hold on,
list
wait a
of
minute.
things
I'm
you
not,
wanted?
because I wanted women.
But okay, didn't you want to? Okay,
It wasn't that pressing.
okay,
The women thing was pressing.
okay.
And I could have said that. But getting the job trying to get a car is not changing me. I think sometimes, and I say this, more older women, they don't want to change anything. They're like, I'm fine like this. I'm not changing. But I caution this saying men and women earlier, we get set in our ways.
I think people get set in their ways after a
Absolutely.
certain
My
age.
relatives used to tell me, especially the ones in the South, you better pick one of them girls up there because you're going to get set in your ways.
Yeah.
I did not know what that meant.
Yeah, now
But the
you do.
older I got, everything was an issue with me. I don't like the way she does this. I don't like the way she does that. And I got more stuff in my life. I
Right.
got a house. I had cars. I had my bank account. I don't have to put up with nothing. Well, the younger me was a lot friendlier and amenable to shit.
Right.
You know, okay.
Right.
She
You're like,
snore
okay.
a little bit. That's cute.
Well,
what I'm
the
saying?
longer you live, the more you figure out like this is the way that I want to do things. Okay, we're running late. We probably should wrap.
Gina B has another agenda.
No, I don't.
No,
My agenda
seriously.
is to be on time.
Bottom line is in dating, I'm big on this, and I'll say it. If you see when you always say some good bones in a guy,
Yeah, but good bones.
you see a guy or gal and they got some good bones, right?
Like a house would have good bones, right? Strong
Right.
foundation.
He might not be 6'4", but as I tell women, only 15% of the male population is even over 6 feet. And most of the women saying this are literally like 5'3".
Yeah, the
Right?
shorties love the tall men.
Like, I gotta have this.
I get irritated with my short friends. Like, I need a
I'm like-
tall man. I'm like, no, I need a taller man. Like,
Right,
you are
exactly.
short.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, you little as hell.
right.
But I mean, you want what you want. But I'm just saying, cast a wide net. It costs you very little. And you might be surprised at who you find, men or women, right?
Right.
Who we think we should have isn't always who's the best for us. And because of that, I know that sometimes if you see a good person, I like being around, and they were pretty cool in that conversation we had. If he was cool in a one-on-one conversation and you sort of laughed and that experience was good, chances are if he asks you out that he deserves the first date. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, try it.
He might only been 5'6". You don't know what he make. You don't know a lot of shit, but you know what? I felt good right there for that moment in the coffee shop. That's the first date, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's all.
That's
I'm saying.
fair. That's fair.
That is this show, Do's and Don'ts dating. I know
Don't stick it in crazy.
I know Lori Harvey probably took up a little bit of time on it.
Yeah,
She cute though.
she's a really, really pretty woman.
She'll be big as hell in a couple years. No.
She will not. Stop it. Anyway.
Anyway,
We'll see you.
until next week, I want y'all to come back. Go to the Kris the Critic page. Check out some old shows. We
Yeah,
will be back next
us know
week
what
with
you
something
think.
salacious. I will have some special guests next week. Tell a friend. If you think you have something to get off your chest, shoot me a special note, and you too can be on the Kris the Critic show. Guys, get on your nerves. You think these women out here are just trifling? Hit your boy up. Love to chat about it. Until next week, Kris and Gina, we out of here like last year. Thank you all for coming. Peace
Peace
and
and
love.
grease.